This is Dr. Corey Maas on Looking Your Best. I got a great question today, and it was on from a facelift patient. Actually, it was a referred patient, and right away when she sent an email to follow up on her appointment schedule, she said, "And by the way, how much does a facelift cost?" Of course, I've never met this patient, so I don't really know what she looks like. She's a referral, so I know her friend, and I know her to be a very nice lady and someone that's very happy with her outcome. And probably they've had some discussion about the experience and what to expect and all that kind of thing. But for me, I think it's important that, and this is always true in what we do in plastic surgery and aesthetic surgery, that I have an understanding of what the condition of you, what your condition is, or the condition of any patient that I'm seeing. And when you come in asking for a facelift, a lot of patients actually, in my experience, don't even really need a facelift. They might need a neck lift, or they might need a mini facelift, or they might not even need that much. They could probably do a non-surgical facelift with Ultherapy, or they could do submental or underneath the chin liposuction and laser skin resurfacing. And so when we talk about facelifts, which is a generic term now that includes everything from something you can buy in a jar to the surgery itself and everything in between, it's something like a lot of the procedures that we offer that's very difficult to nail down. What does a facelift cost? It's a simple question, and there's a broad range of answers based on the condition of the patient, of you, where you're starting from, what your expectations are, how much improvement you'd like to have, how much, there's a budget, and so how much your budget range is something that you get to decide about. And then how much time do you have to recover? Or do you need to be better in a day? Because a surgical facelift probably isn't going to be the best answer for you if you need a lift, in your opinion, and you've got a wedding this weekend. So those are the kinds of things that we have to, when we talk about how much something costs, like how much does a facelift cost, those are all part of the answer to the question. And in order for me to answer that accurately, I really have to see and talk to you and find out what your goals are and what your expectations are. And if I can get that information, I can really be, as specific as I can be in these scenarios. And that doesn't mean we're limited. I mean, we might do some other little things that would help alongside a facelift. Sometimes I'll be giving those things away as a complimentary service, or sometimes they're add-ons. But I would say now 80% or more of the lifts that I do will get fat transfer, autologous fat transfer, along with the treatment. And along with that, resurfacing around the mouth or around the eyes are very commonly done together. And there's all kinds of ways we can package that. And there's this discussion then about when someone asks, well, how much does a facelift cost? Are we including the cost of the anesthesia? Or are we including the cost of the facility? Or are we just talking about the surgical procedure itself? And I think most people really just sort of think about, well, how much is it all in? So that's important for us to understand too. The general range, I can tell you, on a broad term like facelift could be as low as a few $1,000s, or in the non-surgical category, and if you include all in, up into the high teens for cost for a facelift. In some areas of the country, that's much higher than that, and well into the 20s, $1,000 for these procedures. So, and sometimes people include other things along with the actual facelift itself. And I'd refer you to some of my other videos, like what is the definition of a facelift, and how do we define facelifting, and in the anatomical sense versus the practical sense, which I think are important. So I want to be real careful in answering this question, but I think it's really important when you ask them. There's such a huge range now. I just gave you a huge range on the low end, a few $1,000s, on the high end, up into the $20,000 range, depending on what you're asking for and what other services that are complementary that might be provided, as well as the facilities and anesthesia. But for everybody, I really think whether you come to me or go somewhere else or do both, it's important to understand that you want to express your desired outcomes, The doctor needs to examine your current condition and your history, and there are sometimes some mitigating or complexity factors that can add time, which is really what we're talking about when we talk about cost. It's how much time and complexity, and how assured are we that we'll get you an outstanding result that we're looking for, that all factor into those numbers at the end. So I know it's a very non-specific answer that I gave you for cost, but I will tell you it's really important, again, just to reiterate, that you talk to your doctor, make a clear set of goals and understandings, make sure you're given a clear set of answers, and I use computer imaging and show patients what they can look like with the lift plus resurfacing, with the lift plus spat transfer, and other, or chin implant, or other things that might be adjunctive procedures, so that you can make the best decision that goes along with your budget. And then we can provide a menu of options for every patient. And when I say menu of options, a menu of procedures that are available to address that concern that can fit within your budget. If you have any other questions about facelifting in general, or other procedures, or the cost of other things, please don't hesitate to call our office. You can write me at drmaas.com, or send photos and or videos now we use, and I'd be happy to get on with you and get those questions answered. As always, it's my pleasure. This is Dr. Maas on Looking Your Best.